This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, fine. So yeah, once again, I will explain what I was saying here. So we had recorded all the required transaction, like we had recorded purchase, sales, purchase return, sales return. Then we also recorded a few transaction with services. So now what we have to do is we have to go and check what is the tax liability and what is my ITC. Okay. So in order to do that, we will go to display more reports, and here we have GST reports. So under your GST reports, you have your GSTR1 and GSTR3B. Okay, so as I was explaining in the last class, these two are the very important reports that we will be filing. Okay, these are the only two reports, GSTR1 and GSTR3B. Okay, GSTR2, you will get that in your GST portal. Okay, once your supplier uploads his GSTR1, then your GSTR2 will be generated in the GST portal. Okay, so now GSTR1, as I was explaining you in the last class, it will contain all the details of the outward supplies. Okay, when I say outward supplies, it means all the sales transaction. So now if I go to GSTR1, so here it's not showing any transaction. Why? Because you can see the date here. It is for the month of September, 1st September to 30th September. But if you remember, all our transaction was done in the month of October. So what you have to do is press Alt F2. Okay. Alt F2 is the shortcut key to change period. Okay. You can use Alt function F2 if you are using a laptop. So here you can change the date. So it is from 1st of October till 31st of October. Okay, so now you can see that all my transaction details is being shown here. Okay, so this is all my B2B invoice, and this is the credit or debit note. That means the purchase and sales return transaction. So you can find all the details here. Okay, now very important, unless I rectify any errors, if there is any errors in my report, unless I rectify them, I cannot file my returns. So how to find out whether there is any error or no? So you can see here, there is an option which says uncertain transaction. That means correction needed. So under this field, we have one. That means there is one transaction out of all the transactions that we have recorded. There is one transaction which has some corrections to be made. So we need to first rectify this error. So in Tally, it is very easy to rectify the error because Tally will only identify what the error is and it will take you to that place. You just have to find out what the error is and you have to rectify it. So I'll press enter now. This is very important. I would like everyone to pay attention now. So I'll click on this uncertain transaction. So here this is showing me one transaction wherein it says HSN or SAC is invalid or not specified. So for some transaction here it says outward supplies. That means in one of my sales transaction there is some error. So what I'll do is I'll press enter once again. So now for this particular transaction here, okay, for this particular transaction there is some error. Once again, what I'll do is I'll press enter. So here, what was the reason? So even Tally will provide you with the reason why exactly there is an error. So we can read that error and we can understand. So here it says HSN is invalid or not specified. That means in my transaction, in this transaction, you can see that I am selling milk. So for this milk, the stock item here, I have not provided the HSN code. That is what it's trying to say here. So what I'll do is I'll press Control Enter. Okay. So what I will do is here I've given GST applicability. So actually milk falls under exempt category. So what we will do is instead of providing the HSN number, I will just press space bar and I'll say GST applicable as not applicable. Okay. Then all these details will vanish. Now I'll press Control A. And now because I have made some changes here, it is asking me, do you want to accept the master, and GST status will be updated while opening the returns. That means now the transaction will happen, but the changes will be made later. That is what the first option says here. The second option says that do you want to accept the transaction as well as update your GST status as well. So I will go for the second option here, which says U. Okay, I will press U, so it will upgrade. Then after that, I'll press Control A in order to save this transaction. So now you can see that under my uncertain transaction, this particular transaction is not being mentioned. Okay, now you can see that my uncertain transaction, it is showing nil. There is no uncertain transaction. Okay. So did you all understand how I rectified the error? Do you want me to show you to you once again? Did you all understand? Shall I move on to the next topic? Fine. Okay, so you want me to repeat it? Okay, fine. I'll repeat that. But before that, let me first generate an error. Okay, again I'll go to daybook. Okay, so now in this stock item milk, I'll press applicable. So till here you all followed me right in the last class, wherein I had given some this specified details here, or else we'll do one thing. We will keep this as specified details here, and here I'll give exempt, but I have not given any HSN code. Okay, you can see that I have not given the HSN code. I'll keep it as exempt goods, Control A. Okay, then again it is asking me a warning here. So let me just accept this. Okay, let me press Control A. Okay, fine. So now it will be easy for me to show you this. Okay. Okay, so now I told you that when we check the GSTR1 return, that means here we will have all the details of the outward supplies, all the sales transactions. So if I want to file this return GSTR1, I should make sure that all my transactions are completely correct. Okay, if there is any small error in one of my transaction, I will not be able to file my returns. So how can I find out whether I have a error, or if I have a error, how can I rectify that? So in order to find that out, here you have an option which says uncertain transaction. Okay, in the bracket it says correction needed. So here you can see that in this field it is mentioned one. That means there is one transaction wherein there is some error which has to be rectified. So what I'll do is I'll press enter. Okay, this will tell me the reason as well. So you can see here under my outward supplies. Okay, that means in some of my sales transaction, here I have not provided the HSN code. If you remember, when I was recording the milk transaction, okay, I had not given the HSN code. I had kept the taxability type as exempt, and I didn't give any HSN code. So that is the error that has been generated here. So how can I rectify that? So you need not have to again go back to that particular transaction. So what you can do is you can come here, you can navigate to the bottom and then press enter. So this will take you to the transaction. Automatically, it will only find out where the error is and it will take you to that place. You just have to, go to that place and fill in the details. So now it is telling me that HSN code is either invalid or not specified. So it is for the milk. So what I'll do is now, again, I'll come to this transaction. This is the sales transaction that I just recorded. So I'll click on this milk. After that, what I'll do is I'll press Control Enter. Control Enter is the shortcut key in order to go to the stock item alteration screen. Okay, if I press Control Enter, you can see that it has taken me to the stock item alteration screen. So here what I have to do, you can see that the HSN code is not provided. That is what the error was saying there. So what I'll do is I'll provide the HSN code now. Okay, so for milk it is 401. Okay, after this, I'll give in the description. Let me just tell it, say the description as milk. Okay, now let me accept the transaction. I'll press Control A. See, either you can keep the GST applicability as not applicable. Okay, here you can either choose applicable or not applicable. If you choose applicable, provide the HSN code, and under your taxability type, choose exempt. Okay, you can do it in either ways. It is left to you. But here, because I've taken applicable, because I did not give the HSN code, there was an error. So now I have given a HSN code. I have given the description as well. I'll press Control A in order to save this. So it is telling me, because I'm making some transaction, this will affect my GST reports. So do you want to accept this, and do you want to make the changes in your reports? Yes, I want to make the changes in my reports as well. So for that, I will select the second option here, which says accept master and update GST status of voucher. So for this, I have to press U. Okay, I have to press the alphabet U in my keyboard. So now this has, accepted the transaction and also updated my GST reports. Now once again, I'll press Control A. Okay, so it is not fine. 1 minute. Let me just check. Okay, there's still there is some error here. Still, it is saying HSN code or SAC is invalid or not specified. So for this, maybe I have to choose the accept GST applicable as not applicable. So let us try that. So because after providing the HSN code also, this is giving me an error. So what I can do here is I will select this GST applicability. I'll press space bar and I'll keep this as not applicable. Okay, fine. So I've kept it as not applicable here. I'll press Control A. So again, it will tell me again you are making some changes. Do you want to make the update in your GST reports as well? So I'll press U. Again, I'll press Control A. Okay. So now you can see that that error has been rectified. Okay, so I had given the HSN code, but still it did not work. So in that case, what you can do is in the GST applicability field, select not applicable and then accept this claim. Okay, so now you can see that in my uncertain transaction, it is showing nil. That means there is no uncertain transaction. Everything is perfectly fine. You can file your returns. Okay, is it fine? Did you all understand? Now, this is very important, rectifying the errors. See, this was one error. There might be hundreds of errors that will be generated, but you have to read. The tally software itself will provide you with all the reasons that where the error is and what the error is. You just have to read that error and you have to rectify it. Okay, so did you all understand? You want me to repeat it once again? Shall I move on to the next concept? Okay, fine. So again, I'm telling you, if you find any concept or any of the point that I'm saying difficult, or if you are getting confused somewhere, if you are practicing along with me, please feel free to stop me and just tell me that I'm having a doubt here. You can please, let me know. Okay, you can either even you can use the chat box as well. You can drop all your doubts in your chat box. Fine. So now I was telling you that how to find out my tax liability as well as my ITC. So here in the GSTR1, we will find out our tax liability. That means in my GSTR1, what transactions do we have? We have all the outward supplies, all the sales transaction. So if I'm selling some goods on that, what will happen? I will be receiving some GST. That means I am collecting GST from the customers, right? So all the tax that I collect from the customers, I am liable to pay to the government. So you will find your tax liability here under GSTR1. So here I have three columns: IGST, CGST, SGST, and UTGST. So below that you can see the total amount here. So you can see the total amount here, which says 1,95,900 for your SGST, 1,95,900 for your CGST, 6,600 for your IGST. So did you all can everyone see this total screen here? Okay, so this is my tax liability. That means this is how much that I'm supposed to pay to the government. This is the value. Okay, so I have to make sure that I pay this amount to the government. So as I was explaining you in the previous sessions, before I pay my tax liability, I must make sure that I check my ITC as well. That means whatever ITC that I have to first claim that. Okay. In order to claim that, I must first check how much ITC I am, supposed to collect from the government. So in order to check that, you can go to GSTR 3B. Okay, in your GSTR 3B, you will find out that detail. Now, if I go to GSTR 3B, again, you can see that there is no transactions here because this is showing for the month of September. I need to change the date. I'll press Alt F2. I'll change the date from 1st of September to 1st of October and 31st of October. Okay, so now here you can see that under your input tax credit available either in full or in part. So you can see that here it is showing me the IGST amount that I am eligible to collect. Okay, so you can see that here it says 4,20,000. So did you all understand how to check your ITC as well as your this thing tax liability? So now if you can observe this GSTR 3B, you can see that again here I have some uncertain transaction. Can you see here uncertain transaction connections needed? So it is showing 2. So again, if I don't rectify this corrections, I will not be able to file my GSTR 3B. So let us quickly rectify. Let us first find out what it is. Okay, so I have 3 errors here. Okay, so first one says party GSTI number and company GSTI number cannot be the same. Okay, so yeah, this is one error. Then supplier debit credit note is not specified. Okay, and the same thing. So there are 3 errors that has been generated. So let us rectify them one by one. So now we first have to understand what the error is. So here the first error says that trans party GST number and company GST number cannot be the same. So let me just press enter and check who is the party here. So AK agency. Okay, now I'll tell you what is the error. If you remember when we were creating the company, in our company feature screen, we would have provided a GST number. Okay, so this is the GST number. So the last 4 numbers are H1Z6. Okay, remember this H1Z6. This is the company GST number. This is our GST number. Now let us check the party GST number. So the party of this transaction is AK agency, right? So what you can do is you can click on AK agency and again press Control Enter. Control Enter is the shortcut key for the alteration screen. So here again you can see that this is also the same H1Z6. See, this is the error. My company's GST number as well as the party GST number both are the same. So that is why there is an error. So did you all understand what the error is? Class, did you understand? Do you want me to repeat it? Are you able to understand what the error was? You can see that my GST number, my company's GST number as well as the party GST number both are the same here. So when we were creating the party ledger, maybe by mistake I had provided the same GST number here. So what I will do is I will change the GST number now. Okay, so let me change this. Let me give a new number. This is also giving me an error. Let me use another GST number. Yeah, so this is now, this is a valid GST number. So you can make a note of this GST number for the AK agency. Okay, so I have given a different GST number now. So you can make a note of this. Now again, I'll press enter and I will, here it says effective date for revised GST details. That means I am making the changes in my GST related details, right? So I have to mention on which date. So here it says current date of company. So I'm making the changes as of my current date. So I will select current date of company, and again it says you are making some changes which will affect the GST reports. So do you want to accept it? So I will select you. Okay, I was just explaining it to you. Okay, so now press control A, and once again you can press control A. Okay, now you can see that that error has been resolved. Okay, so one, we have resolved one, this thing, wherein you can see that we had three uncertain transaction wherein we solved the first one. Now let us solve the second one here. Second one says that supplier debit credit note is incorrect or not specified. So let me press enter and find out which one is this. So if you remember, we had recorded a purchase return. So purchase return will come under your debit note. So for this, there is an error that has been generated. So what is that error? The error is the supplier debit or credit note number is not specified. So we will specify that. So again, I just have to press enter. It will take me to the screen there. Okay. So here I will specify the supplier debit credit note details. So first is reason for issuing note. So what is the reason that we are doing the purchase return here? So you can read the reasons and you can select any one. So in my case, I will select this one, deficiency in services. Okay, let me give a random supplier invoice number. Let me give it as ER slash KY 01. So I'm giving a random number here. You can provide some random numbers. The date. So this transaction was on 2nd of October. So let me give 2nd of October. So you can see that now even this error has been rectified. So now there is one last error. Okay, there is one more last error. So we have rectified the two errors. Now there is one more error here which says mismatch in GST registration dealer between the party and the transaction. Okay, so again it is taking me to this particular transaction here. Okay, so there is a mismatch. So as soon as I do that, okay, you can observe that as soon as I press enter, it will take me to the screen where I have to make changes. I need not have to search for where I have to go. So here you can see that. Let me check what the error is. See here, as per transaction. Okay, as per transaction, this is the GST number. You can see the last four digits H1Z6. But as per master, that means I just made a transaction change, right? You can see that the GST number is different, B1ZK. So there is two different one. So what I'll do is I'll press here. I'll press enter. No, wait. Apply changes from master transaction to master to transaction. Okay, so yeah, I need not have to even select it here itself. I will say apply the changes from. So if I say master to transaction, that means whatever is there in the masters, that will be applied to my transaction as well. That means the GST number as per my master will be copied to the GST number as per the transaction as well. So let me just check this. I'll press enter to accept it. Yeah, you can see that now there is no errors. Again, the error has been rectified. So now if you check your uncertain transaction, it is showing nil. Okay, so this is how you can rectify your transactions. So if you remember, before rectifying, your ITC was 4,20,000. Now see how much it is. It is 3,81,000. So there is a huge difference. So that is why it is very uh, sir, I'm not getting alteration screen automatically. After pressing Control Enter, also you are not getting Simran. Okay. So in that case, instead of pressing Alt Enter, Control Enter, what you can do is, I'll show you. Wait. So let me go to any one of the transactions here. Okay, now if you are trying control enter and if it's not working, what you can do is press Alt G. Okay, Alt G here, it's a shortcut key for go to. You can see here on the top, press Alt G. And here on the top, you have an option which says Alter Master. Okay, so you can select this option here which says Alter Master, press enter, then go to ledger and select whichever ledger you want to alter. So if you are trying to alter the party, so select the party, AK agency. So you will be taken to the screen here, and here you can make whatever changes you want. Okay. So yeah, class, please rectify whatever errors you have in the GST reports, and if you are not able to do it, let me know now itself. We will first rectify that. Only after you finish rectifying, we can file our returns. Okay, so this is very important, rectification of your transactions. So it is very simple. You just have to follow whatever the instructions or whatever the software is telling you to, and you just have to fulfill that. So now you can see here that even my 3B has zero uncertain transactions, and even my GSTR1 had zero uncertain transaction. So now pay attention. I will be explaining you how to adjust your input tax credit with your tax liability. Okay. So now here you can see that my input tax credit is 3,81,000. So if you were all following all the transactions that I was recording, this is the value that you should get. Okay, if you were following exactly how I was doing, if you are not getting this value, then there is some error. Okay, please let me know if you're not getting this error. Okay, for the ones who are following me from all the transactions that I was recording, please tell me that this is the value that you're getting here, 3,81,000. Okay, if any one of you are who are not getting it, tell me. We will find out what error mistakes you have done, and we will first rectify that. Okay, so here my ITC is 3,81,000. Then what was my tax liability? Again, I'll go to my GSTR1. So my tax liability is here I can see my tax liability. Okay, 1,95,000, 1,95,000, and the total tax amount here. You can see the total tax amount 3,98,400. Okay, how much is it? 3,98,400. So now what I will do is, if you remember, I told you when my tax liability is more than my ITC. So my ITC was 3,81,000. So my ITC is less. My tax liability is more because it says 3,98,000. So what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to pay this 3,98,400 to the government. But along with that, I am supposed to even get back the ITC also. So I told you that government will not directly credit that ITC amount to your bank account. So what the government will ask you to do is, listen, for this month you can keep your share. That means whatever ITC you have, you can keep that share, deduct that from the tax liability, and whatever remaining amount is there, you pay that remaining amount to the government. So that is what the government will ask you to do. So now what we will do is, we will minus 3,81,000 with 3,98,000. So did you all understand what we will be doing now? Do you want me to repeat it once again? Class, please respond to this because this is very important. Do you all understand? Do you want me to repeat this concept once again? Okay, fine. So now let us, do some calculation here itself. So now let me just press Control N. Okay, remember this. Control N is the shortcut key for your calculator. Okay, Control N will open a calculator. So now let me, take the values. So I forgot the value. No, just check this, 3,98,400. Then coming to my 3B, let me check my ITC. So my ITC is 3,81,800. Okay, remember these values. Okay, now I'll press Control N. So it was 3 lakh 98,400 minus 3 lakh 81,000. So I'll press enter. So 17,400. So 17,400 is what I'm supposed to pay to the government. Okay, so remember this 17,400. So this 17,400 is again classified into three parts. What are all those three parts? It is your CGST, SGST, and IGST. So the total value of your CGST, IGST, SGST is 17,400. So this is the total value that we are supposed to pay to the government. Okay. For the month of October, remember this is all for the month of October. Now, let us break this value as well. Let us find out the individual values for our SGST, CGST, and ITGST. So again, for that you can check the values here itself. So here my CGST total ITC, you can see here it is 1,87,500, and my total SGST is 1,87,500. So this is my ITC. So let me check my 1 lakh. How much was that? 1,87,500. Now let me check my tax liability. So here you can see that my total CGST and SGST liability is 1,95,900. Okay. So again I'll open the calculator, or else wait, let me calculate it somewhere else so that it will be easy for us to remember. Okay, no, let me open the calculator. So here it was how much? 1,95,000. 1 minute. 1,95,900. 1,95,900. 6,600. Okay, and here it says 1,87,500. Now I'll open my calculator and I will see. So it is 1,95,900. 1,95,900. So this is the total tax liability for my SGST and CGST. Okay, not SGST and CGST combined, but for my SGST. Okay, let us do individually. 1,95,900 minus my ITC. ITC for my SGST. So it was 1,87,500. So it is 8,400. So even for your SGST, it will be the same 8,400. Now for my IGST, so here in my tax liabilities, it is showing 6,600. Okay. So now let me minus this also 6,600 minus the ITC of my IGST, which is 6,000. Okay. So it is 600. So now if you remember, the original value was 17,400. So even let us reconfirm that. So 8,400 CGST plus 8,400 SGST plus 600. That is your IGST. 17,400. So now did we understand the breakup of CGST, SGST and IGST? How I classified them? Do you want me to repeat it once again? Did you all understand the calculations that I just performed now? Please let me know. Class, did you all understand the calculations that I just performed now? You can react to that. Okay. Sushmita K, your IGST is 6,000. Okay, where is it showing 6,000? Is it in GSTR 1 or GSTR 3B? GSTR1. For you, it's showing 6,600 in your GSTR1. Maybe because when you are recording some transaction, you might have given a different value while recording your transactions. Okay, I will just press, I'll just show you all the transaction here. So this is my IGST value, 6,600. So there was only one transaction where I recorded IGST. So this was the transaction, if you remember. Okay. So yeah, if you have recorded this transaction as per my rate and as per my quantity, then you will get 6,600, else no. You can check. So did you record the transaction with my values only? Okay, fine. Yeah, yeah. So I hope all of you have understood the calculation part. So again, I'm repeating you. If you have not understood it, please let me know. Okay. So the total value was 17,400 after claiming the ITC. So 17,400 is what I am supposed to pay to the government. So if I'm paying it to the government, what I have to do is first I must adjust this amount. So we did the calculation here manually, but before we pay the government, we have to first, record even the adjustment transaction, wherein if you remember, I was adjusting my CGST and SGST and all those things. Okay, so now for that, what we will do is from gateway of tally I will go to vouchers. Okay, and in vouchers I will first change the date into 1st of November. Okay. After that, what I have to do here is I have to select journal voucher. So if you remember in our first class, I was explaining you the different accounting vouchers. So I told you we will use journal voucher in case of adjustment related transactions. So because we are doing some adjustments here, I will select this F7 journal. Okay. So now I'm in my journal voucher here. So here what I have to do is I have to select this option here which says configure. Okay, so this is the option that I have to select, configure. Okay, so I'll press F12. conf I'm sorry, not F12. Sorry, class. It is not F12 configure. Sorry, it is this option, Alt J, start adjustment. Okay, so you have to select this one. Okay, once again, I was confused. It's not F12 configure. It is Alt J, start adjustment. Okay, you have to select this one. As soon as you do that, you will get a new screen here which says start adjustment details. So first I have to select what kind of adjustment I'm doing for which kind of tax. So in our case, we are using only one tax, that is GST. So I'll select GST. Nature of adjustment. So what are you doing here? So what kind of adjustment is happening? So can anyone tell me what, looking at the nature of adjustments here, can anyone tell me which one are we going to use? You can even drop your answers in the chat box. Anyone? You can guess. Okay, you can guess any one of the answers here. So understand what we are trying to do here. You saw that my tax liability was 3 lakh something. Now it has become 17,400. So what is happening to my tax liability? Is it increasing or decreasing? It is decreasing, right? So if it is decreasing means I have to select this option, decrease in tax liability. That is what is happening here. Okay, so I will select decrease in tax liability. Okay, and the additional information. We should provide additional information here. So I don't have a valid information for this adjustment. So I will select this option which says others. Okay, I will select this others. And now what I have to do is I must adjust first my CGST, SGST, and after that my IGST. So I'll press CGST debit. So it will ask you for the rate and taxable value. You can skip this because we were using multiple GST rate. We had used 12% as well as 18%. So what I'll do is I'll press enter, enter. So if you remember the calculations that we did, so my CGST was 8,400. So what I have to do here, I have to select 8,400. Press enter. Then again debit SGST. So you can skip this rate and taxable value. Again, my SGST, if you remember, it was 8,400. Then again debit your IGST. So IGST, if you remember, it was 600 rupees. Okay, and then once again you will be crediting all the same things. You have to just repeat this. Okay, debit CGST, debit SGST, and debit IGST, and even in your credit part you will do the same thing, nothing different. So credit CGST, how much? 8,400. Then credit SGST, 8,400. Then again credit IGST, 600. Okay, so this is how you will record your adjustment transaction. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this. Okay, take a screenshot of this when you're recording, and this is how you are supposed to pass the adjustment transaction. Okay, so I will once again repeat. First I will open vouchers. I'll go to vouchers. I will select journal voucher here. F7 is the shortcut key. After that I will select this option which says alt J, start adjustment. I will select GST. I will select the nature of adjustment as decrease in tax liability, and the additional nature of adjustment will be others. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this particular screen as well. Okay, and after that, this is how I will debit and credit my CGST and SGST in order to decrease my tax liability. Okay, now press enter and accept the screen. Okay, any doubts? Class, please let me know. Do you have any doubts? You can react. Again, once again, I'm telling you, you can react with a thumbs up if you have doubt. React with a thumbs down if you don't have any doubts.
Sir,
Hmm?
so why is it decrease in tax liability? I didn't understand that.
Why is it decrease in tax liability? Okay, I'll tell you. Now let me go to my GST reports. Okay, let me go to my GSTR1. In my GSTR1, I will first see the uh, tax liability. Okay, first I must see what is my tax liability. Okay, so here can you see what is the tax liability? Tell me what is the tax liability that you can see here.
3,98,400.
That means what? I'm supposed to pay this much of amount to the government. Okay, so along with this I have my share as well. Okay, when I say my share, it means my ITC, input tax credit, the tax that I had paid during my purchase. I am claiming back the tax amount. Okay, so in order to check my ITC, what I'll do, I'll go to 3B, GSTR 3B. So in my GSTR 3B, can you tell me what is the total ITC that I have here?
3,81,000.
3,81,000. That means this is the total amount that I have to receive from the government. So now government will not directly credit this 3,81,000 to my bank account. Okay. So what the government will tell me is, you have a tax liability, right? So what you can do is you can decrease your tax liability by adjusting this ITC. So if I adjust this ITC, what I will do, I will minus 3,98,400 with 3,81,000. So if I minus that, how much will I get? I will get 17,400, right?
Yes,
So now initially my tax liability was 3,98,400 initially, but now it has become 17,400. So is it increasing or decreasing?
decrease.
Yeah, so that is why we are decreasing the tax liability.
Okay, sir.
Did
Thank
you
you.
understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. So for that, first we will have to decrease. So that is why I, recorded the journal entry where I mentioned the amount. Okay, what is the total value after deducting, after decreasing. So that is why I recorded the journal voucher. After I record that, let me make the payment to the government. So let me go to vouchers. So in order to pay, we will use payment voucher F5. Okay. So this is single entry mode. So it is left to you. You either can choose double entry or single entry. Okay. If you are choosing double entry, let us take double entry, wherein you will have your traditional debit and credit column. So your debit will be CGST, SGST, and IGST. Credit will be cash or bank. Okay. So now let me change the date. Is it? Let it be 2nd of November. Okay, the adjustment was done in 1st of November, and this is for 2nd of November. So first I'll go to this payment. So before I record this, what I have to do is I have an option here on the right hand side which says autofill. Okay, Control F is the shortcut key. So I have to first select this, and again I have to mention all the stat payment details. So first is the transaction type, so that will be the stat payment. Tax type is GST. Type of payment, so here I have multiple payments. That means what are you paying to the GST department? Are you paying tax other than reverse charge? So I will explain what do you mean by this reverse charge and all those things. So then here you have another column which says tax, reverse charge. You have interest, late fees, penalty, others, and all those things. Okay, so in my case it is tax other than reverse charge. This is tax other than reverse charge. Remember this. I will explain what do you mean by this reverse charge. Okay. Period from, that means from when till when, that means for which month are you filing your GST. That means if you remember, while I was creating the company, in the periodicity of GSTR1, what did I mention? Monthly. So my payment should be monthly based. So here I have to select this 1st October to 31st October. Okay, that's it. If you want, again I will show you that screen. Okay, you can make a note of it. Go to payment voucher, select the date as 2nd of November, then press Control F autofill. Type of transaction will be stat payment, tax type will be GST, payment method will be tax other than reverse charge, and the period is for the month of October. That means your 1st of October to 31st of October. You can take a screenshot of this. Okay, then press enter. After that you will be debiting your CGST. So if you remember all the calculations that we did, so how much are we supposed to pay in our CGST? 8,400. So you can see the current balance here. So I'll press 8,400. Okay, then again debit SGST 8,400. Then again debit IGST 8,400. Sorry, not 8,400, it is 600. IGST is 600. Then credit, cash or bank. So because we are paying it to the government, we have to create a bank ledger. Okay. So let me create a bank ledger. So this bank ledger will come under your bank accounts. I'll press Control A. As of now, I'll skip all these details. I'll press Control A. Okay. So again, you can press Control A. So 17,400. So all our calculation is correct. Okay. Now again, once again, I'll press enter. So this is the bank allocation screen. That means it is asking me through how are you paying the amount. So is it through check? Is it through NEFT, RTGS? So what I'll do, I'll press space bar and I'll select e-fund transfer. Okay, if it is NEFT, National Electronic Fund Transfer, I will select e-fund transfer. Okay. So can anyone tell me what is the difference between NEFT and RTGS? Are you aware of what exactly is NEFT and RTGS? You can even use the chat box to drop in the answers. What is NEFT and RTGS and what is the difference between both of them? Can anyone tell me? Okay, so NEFT, National Electronic Fund Transfer. Okay, so that is a method of your online transactions. Okay, and RTGS means real time gross settlement. Okay, both are your online method of transactions, but what is the difference here is if it is less than 2 lakhs. Okay, if it is less than 2 lakhs, if your online payment is less than 2 lakhs, you will use NEFT. If it is more than 2 lakhs, you will use RTGS. Okay, that is the difference between NEFT and RTGS, remember this. Okay, so yeah, so transaction type I will take it as e-fund transfer. There is no need to provide any account number and IFSC code. I'll just skip this as of now. Then here it is very important for me to provide GST details. So what I'll do is I'll have to provide the GST details here. So when you make the payment to the GST department, so after you make the payment, so once you make the payment only, right, you will come to the software and you will record this transaction in your daybook. So once you make the payment, what we have to do is you will have the GST tax challan. Okay, that means once you make the payment to the government, you will have a GST tax challan. So I will show you how the tax challan will look. Okay. Okay, so can you see here? This is how the tax challan will look. Can you see here? Can you just let me know whether you are able to see the screen? Class, can you see the screen? Yeah, so this is how your tax challan will look. Okay, this is not clear. Let me go back to a different one. Yeah, this is clear. So here you will have the details. So once you make the payment to the when once you go to the GST portal and once you make the payment, so you will have this GST tax challan. Okay, so in this GST tax challan you will have all the details. Okay, for example, you can see the mode of payment. Here it is NEFT slash RTGS. You can see the CGST and IGST and all the SGST amount that they have paid. If there is any interest or penalty, that also will be included here. You have the GSTN number, you have the CPIN. Okay, you have a CPIN here. There is a unique number given for your CPIN as well. Then you have the date when the challan was generated. Then you have the business name here. Then you have all the bank details, like if this was NEFT, right? So that is why you have all the bank details as well. Okay, so this is how your tax challan will look. So in Tally, like after you make the payment to the government, then you'll come and record that particular transaction in your books of account, right? So in Tally, under this bank details, this is what details that we are supposed to provide. Okay, you can see the CPIN, CIN number, BRN number. So all these numbers will be in your GST tax challan. So you can check your GST tax challan and you can fill in all the details here. So because I don't have a tax challan, what I'll do is I'll just add some random numbers for all these things. So mode of payment is NEFT. Name of the bank is HDFC. Then my CPIN number, I will give a random number. So when you're doing a proper transaction, make sure you check your tax challan. So in your GST tax challan, you'll have this number. Then again for my CIN number also, I'll give a random number. Then my BRN number, I'll give a random number. So BRN number will be of 7 digits. It's called as basic, no, it's not basic statistical code. It is, yeah, it is a different one. So payment date. So payment date is on 2nd of November. So 2nd of November. So this is how you are supposed to fill in the details here. It is very, very important. Okay. After that, if you want, you can give narration. And now let me see the preview here. Okay, this is not a preview. So yeah, you can make a note of this screen here. Bank details. You can take a screenshot of this. Okay, fine. So after that, press enter and accept the screen. So yeah, this is all about your GST, wherein you decrease your tax liability, and after that you pay the tax amount to the government. And after you pay the tax amount to the government, you will get this GST tax challan from the department itself. It will be mailed to you to your email ID. So looking at this, you can give in the CPIN number, the other related details which will be provided with your tax challan. So looking at this, you can provide the real numbers. So in my case, I just provided some random numbers. You can provide real numbers. Okay, now let us see how to file the returns. So every payment, everything is done. Now my job is to file the returns. So I cannot technically show you how to file the returns because this is educational mode. So in order to me showing you practically, we need a licensed version, but I will provide you with the steps. Okay, you can follow the steps if you have a licensed version, or tomorrow if you are working in a company where you are handling a licensed version. So in that case, you can follow the steps. So first, GSTR1. Okay, so this is GSTR1. This is for the month of October. So first, make sure that all your uncertain transaction is zero. You should not have any uncertain transaction. If you have, you must rectify that. And after that, if you want to file the returns, what you have to do is, here you have an option which says export. Okay, so what we have to do is, we have to click on this, and here it says GST returns. Okay, so what I will do is, I will select this GST returns. So what it will do is, for the month of October, all the transactions that are there in my GSTR1. So this is going to export this. Okay. So here I have an option which says export. So if I click on this, you can see that it is going to export it in a JSN format. So JSN means this is a separate file format, like how you have your PDF and all those things. So similarly, you have a JSN format. So this is the format that you will be uploading in your GST portal. Okay. Suppose if you are working in a company, okay, this is a real example. I want everyone to pay attention. If you are working in a company, let us say in an accounting firm or in an audit firm, and if your chartered accountant asks you to export the GST report in Excel, then how will you do that? Here it says JSN. If he asks you to export it in JSN, fine, you can just click on this export. It will start exporting the return. But if your chartered accountant, or if anyone asks you to export the GST returns in Excel, so what you can do is, come to this option here which says configure, select this, and here in the file format, you can see the file format, right? Press enter, and here you have the Excel option. Okay, you can select Excel, and then press escape. Okay, now you can see that my file format is Excel spreadsheet. Now if I click on export, my report will be exported to a Excel sheet. Okay, so again I'm telling you here I cannot do that because this is not a licensed version. So tomorrow if you're using a licensed version in any of the company, this is the step that you have to follow. Very important. So I hope all of you have understood the step. If not, please let me know. I will repeat this once again. Does anyone want me to repeat this once again? Okay, so I will be repeating this once again. Okay, so you have made all the payments to the government, you have adjusted all your ITC, everything is done. Now you have to file your returns. Okay, when I say file your returns, it means the two returns, GSTR1 and GSTR3B. You must upload this returns to the GST portal. Okay, so you have to go to Google, you have to search there gst.gov.in. So this will take you to the GST portal. Okay, so this is your GST portal. This is where you will be filing all the returns. That means this is where you will upload all the returns. Okay, so now here in Tally Prime, I have my two reports. So I'll go to display more reports, GST reports. First, I told you that these are only the two reports that I'll be filing, GSTR1 and 3B. Okay, so first I will file my GSTR1. So the due date is 11th of the subsequent month. Okay, remember the due dates. Now what I will do is I have my GSTR1 for the month of October. See here, 1st October 22 to 31st October 23. Okay, so this is the month this is the October month's GSTR1 report. So if I want to file this, what will be the last date? It will be 11th of November. Okay, so now all my return is ready. First, make sure you check the uncertain transaction. There must be no uncertain transactions. After that, if you want to upload this GSTR1 into your GST portal, which I just showed you now, if you want to upload this return here in this GST portal, first, you need to convert this return into JSON format. Remember, it should be JSON format, JSON format. Okay, only with that file format you can export it in the, upload it into the GST portal. So for that, what you have to do is you have to select this option here, export. On the top, you can see, right, Alt E, export. Click on this. And here you have an option which is GST returns. Okay, click on this GST returns. Now this is my GSTR1. So this is what I'll be filing. So here you have an option which says export. Click on this. Okay, you can see that my file format is in Excel. Okay, so if your chartered accountant or if any one of you your company asks you to upload or convert this GST reports into Excel, so in that case, what you have to do is you have to select configure, you have to select file format, and then you have to select JSON. Okay, sorry, not JSON, Excel. If your chartered accountant asks you to prepare a Excel sheet, you can just select this Excel, and now this GSTR1 will be exported into a Excel format. Then after you export it into Excel, again you have to convert that Excel file into JSON file, and then you have to upload it into the GST portal. But in order to avoid this, if you directly want to upload your GST returns from here itself, so in that case, again go to configure, select file format and choose JSON. So directly it will convert to the JSON format. But in case if your chartered accountant or anyone asks you to prepare Excel sheets, so I'm just letting you know how to convert this into Excel. Okay. So even tomorrow, if you're working in an accounting firm or in any audit firm, so this will be asked. Okay. If they ask you to convert your GSTR1 into Excel, this is how you will convert it. Okay, and remember, if they say you to convert the GST returns, don't get confused. It will be GSTR1 and 3B. only these two returns. We will not touch GSTR 2 and 2A and 2B and all those things, because that is done by the supplier. Okay. So after that, if you click on this export, this return will be exported. So if I try now, just see what will happen. So what does it say here? It says you need a valid license to perform this activity. So I cannot, practically show you now, but the steps is the same. So after you convert this into either Excel or JSN, so this will be saved in your system. Okay, wherever it will be, maybe it will be saved in C drive or D drive. Okay, you can search for it, it will be saved. And after that, you have to visit the GST portal. After you visit the GST portal, first thing is you have to log in. And how will you log in? You have to first provide the company's GST registration number. You have to log in, and there, for the month of October, you will upload that particular JSN file, and your GST return will be uploaded. So this is the procedure. So I hope all of you have understood the procedure. Okay, if you have not understood, please tell me. I will explain it once again. Because this is a very important concept. This is a practical concept that you will be implying in your real life also tomorrow if you are working. So that is why I'm stressing on this so much. So that is why if you have any doubts, okay, now itself get it clarified. Okay, you can also check the recording, and you can, once again recall everything that we discussed. Okay, so yeah, so with this we will wind up for today. So before I end the session, again I'm asking, any doubts, please let me know, not only regarding whatever I discussed now, any doubts regarding all the things that we discussed so far about GST. Okay, anything related to the GST, anything about your transactions, any other doubts. Okay, whatever you have, please, ask me now itself and get it clarified.
Sir,
Tell me.
sir, my GSCR 3B, in that I'm not able to find that ITC. It's not coming. The column that's showing blank.
In your 3B,
Yes, sir.
what is the month? Can you tell me the date there on your GSTR
Oct
3B?
October only, sir.
October only.
Yes.
Is there any
It's showing
uncertain
out.
transaction?
Uh, that's showing outward taxable supplies and all that is showing, but ITC it's not showing, and that it is
Okay,
empty.
okay. So, is there any uncertain transaction?
Yes, sir.
That is why. If there is uncertain transaction, it will not show. So first we must rectify the uncertain transaction. So rectify your uncertain transactions and tell me whether you are getting or not. So how many
Okay.
uncertain transactions is it showing there?
It's showing 4.
4.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So press enter.
Yeah.
Tell me what are all the reasons that is, displayed there.
Supplier debit note number is not specified. It's incorrect or not
Hmm.
specified.
So rectify all the errors one by one. And if you are not able to rectify any of the error, let me know. After you
Okay,
finish
sir.
all your rectifications, then you check whether you are getting the ITC or not.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Any other doubts? You still have 5 minutes. 9:30 we will end the meeting. So think. Any other doubts? You can ask me regarding any topic that we discussed about GST. Not only today's topic, anything. So if you want, you can make a note of the website as well, the GST portal. So it is gst.gov.in. Okay, www.gst.gov.in. So make a note of this. So your next class is on 19th February. Why is that there is so much of gap in between? After each class also there is a break. No, why is that? Okay, fine. Okay, so you have a long break. You almost have till 19th, right? So you almost have 12 days. So you can practice all the things that we have discussed so far from the class one. From recording, basing, accounting, transactions till GST, whatever we discussed. You can find the recordings, and if you don't get any things from the recording as well, if you find that any part is missing in the recording, you can drop that in the WhatsApp group. You can text, sir, that this is not being done, this is not there in the recording, can you please explain all those things? So we will do all those things. Okay, fine. Yeah, someone asked me a doubt saying that they are
Uh,
not getting the ITC. So did you get it now?
yes, I got it now. I rectified. I got it. So,
How much is it showing?
uh, it's showing 3,81,000.
Fine.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Along with that, check your GSTR one also. Okay.
GST one it was showing, sir.
Fine. So you can go back to the recordings and you can see how I did the adjustment part using the journal voucher and how I made the payment also.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So I still have 3 minutes. So yeah, quickly. Any other doubts? Okay, here, one more thing. I will just, just let you know. We will not discuss about that. That is not part of the syllabus, but I'll just let you know. Okay. Here you have something called as GSTR1 reconciliation, GSTR2 reconciliation, 2B reconciliation. So what do you mean by this? So it means, see, suppose you upload your GSTR1. Okay, that means you are supposed to upload only GSTR1 and 3B. Who will upload GSTR2A? Where will you get your GSTR2A or 2B? You will get that in the GST portal. And when will you get that? When your supplier uploads his GSTR1. Okay. Suppose if there is any mismatch between the GSTR1 that you have uploaded and the GSTR1 that the supplier has uploaded. So then what will happen? There will be an error that in your GSTR2A or 2B. Okay, so if there is any error and if you want to rectify that error, you will use these options here: GSTR1 reconciliation, GSTR2, GSTR2B reconciliation. Okay, so yeah, this is some practical stuff. So remember, if there is any reconciliation to be happened between your 2A and 2B, you can do it from here. Is there anyone here who is actually doing their CA or giving any CA exams? Is there any student here in your class who wants to be a CA, who plans to taking up the exams? No one? Okay. So with that, I will be winding up today's session. Thank you all. So we will again meet on 19th. Okay. So by that time, you can all practice everything and be ready by 19th. Okay. So again, there are other concepts in GST itself which we will have to discuss. So we will discuss that on 19th. Okay. So yeah, thank you all. Have a nice day.